animals. We know reproduction is an important life function for all the animals. Not just animals, for all living organisms. They need to reproduce to keep their species continued and alive on the earth. Okay, if there is no reproduction, the species will not exist after the members have died. So to maintain the continuation of their species, it is a very important life function. Now we also know that human beings are bisexual. That means we have males will show a different kind of sexual characteristics. They will have different sexual organs, and females show different sexual characteristics, and they have different organs. And when these two their spermates meet, then they form a zygote, and this is called fertilization. So when male gamete and female gamete meets, it forms a zygote, and it is called fertilization. So today we will be learning about fertilization in human beings. Fertilization can be external, fertilization can be internal. External happens in the case of frog, fish, etc. It happens in human beings as internal process. So fertilization in human beings is an internal process. Males release millions of sperms inside the female vagina during the process of mating, which is also called copulation. And the process of throwing out sperms, when they enter the female vagina, then they throw out sperms, and this is called ejaculation. The process of throwing out sperms is called ejaculation. These sperms are very, very motile, or they're very active. They can swim easily through inside. They are always in motion, and they quickly move through the uterus to the oviduct or the fallopian tubes. Now, we all know that the fertilization will happen only if the egg is in the oviduct. So they move towards the oviduct, and here the fertilization, if there is an egg present in the oviduct, the fertilization or the fusion of male and female gamete will happen here, and the process and the zygote will be formed. Now this zygote is formed, it divides quickly in the oviduct itself only, and here it forms a multicellular embryo. Okay, so this also, and it also forms a layer around it which does not allow any other sperm to enter through it. Now this embryo multicellular thing will then move and embed itself in the uterus wall, and this is called the implantation of the embryo. Okay, now we also know that if the egg remains unfertilized, then it is thrown out every month, which is basically a cycle of 28 days with lots of blood and muscles, and this is called menstruation in females. So females throw out the egg which is not fertilized every 28 days to 30 days through their menstrual cycle. Let's understand this through a diagrammatic representation. The sperms are highly motile, and they will rush to, once they are released in the female organ, then they will quickly rush towards the oviduct, and it is only in the oviduct that the fertilization of the male and female gamete takes place, and the zygote is formed. Now once the zygote is formed, it will come down and it will embed itself in the wall of uterus. So we'll be learning about that now. The growth of the embryo. So now we'll understand the development of the embryo. Once the zygote, which means it has the male and the female gamete, they have fused and they have formed the zygote, it will start dividing itself. It will have divisions, continuous cell division. So from one cell, it will reach to a multicellular stage, and this zygote meanwhile will travel from the oviduct and it will reach to the uterine wall, or it will implant itself, it will go embed itself in the uterine wall, which is called implantation. From here till here, this stage is called, when it is single celled, it is called zygote, and from here this stage is called an embryo, and it is called till the 8 weeks. So after 8 weeks we start calling it a fetus, and we call the developing thing a fetus only. And Now once it has embedded itself or implanted itself in the uterine wall, a special disc-like cells develop in the uterine wall, in the uterus, and these cells are called, this tissue is called the placenta. This placenta is the connection between the mother and the developing fetus. All the nutrition of which the fetus needs is developed in this, it gets it through this placenta only, which means it gets its nutrition from this placenta, it excretes, it respires, everything comes through this placenta only, and this placenta is connected to the developing embryo or the fetus through this umbilical cord. Okay, and in the uterus you have a watery fluid which is called the amniotic fluid, which is present. Now the presence of this amniotic fluid is just to protect the developing fetus. It actually acts as a protection, okay, to the fetus. Now the fetus will remain in this uterus for about 40 weeks, which is called, and in this period it will start develop. It will develop all the normal features. It will develop hand, feet, ears and eyes, and also the brain development and all the muscles that is required. So this period is called gestation period, and which is for about 40 weeks to 9 months approximately in the human beings. So by 40 weeks the complete development of the fetus takes place, and the baby comes out by the rhythmic contraction of these uterine walls, which is like a muscular wall. So they contract, and this process is called parturition. Parturition, and then the baby comes out. Okay, once it comes out, we call it a baby. Till the time it is in the womb, we call it a fetus. Now, you would have heard of the term called test tube babies or in vitro fertilization or IVF. This technique is used when certain females, their fallopian tubes or the oviducts are blocked. So the egg which is being released by the ovary is not able to come out into the fallopian tube, and therefore the fertilization cannot happen. So in that case, the ova or the egg is taken out from the ovary, the fresh released egg is taken out from the ovary, and the sperm of the male is taken and it is fertilized. It is made to fuse together in the laboratory. That is why it is called in vitro fertilization or test tube. In vitro is the Latin word. Vitro is the Latin word for test tubes or glass utensils. So in vitro fertilization. So this happens outside the female body, or it is an external fertilization, and this is called in vitro fertilization. Now the zygote is allowed to divide for some time. It divides as soon as it forms the zygote, it starts dividing, and then it is provided with all the kind or all good conditions, all the conditions which are necessary for it to develop. So once it gets the suitable conditions, it starts dividing, and within a week it is re-embedded inside the mother's womb or the mother's uterus, where it will start developing into an embryo followed by a fetus, and the baby will come out in the normal way as the in vivo fertilization, as the normal baby comes out. Okay, so this is what we call as test tube babies. And this is how the development of fetus and the baby happens inside the human beings. So now we will start with development of embryo in hen. We know that in hen the fertilization happens inside the female body, so it has internal fertilization. But then hen is an oviparous animal, that means it lays egg, and the development of the zygote happens outside the mother's body also. So this development of zygote does not happen internally. So after fertilization, the zygote comes out into the oviducts, and it divides to form a protective layer over it. So almost 3-4 layers of it is formed. Now these 3-4 layers, the outermost layer becomes a hardened shell kind of a thing. So when this hard shell hardens up and it is hard enough, the hen will lay the egg. Okay, so then after that, once it has laid the egg, the hen sits on it to provide it with warmth, and this sitting on it is called to provide it warmth is called incubation of the egg. Okay, so it will keep it warm so that the hen gets the suitable temperature, or the developing chick gets the suitable temperature. Now after 3 weeks, the shell will break out, and inside that egg, the chick grows and comes out. Okay, so this, when the chick comes out and the egg breaks, it is called hatching, and this is the kind of process that happens in lizards, happens in reptiles, and in all other birds. Now it might be that they would have a different time period of incubation. That means they will be sitting on their on the eggs for a little, for the time period might vary. In hen it is about 3 weeks, and it depends on what kind of organism it is. So the incubation period might vary, but it is a similar process in all oviparous animals. Now we come to development in frogs. You would have seen that in certain animals, like in chick, it has almost all the features which its parent has. It only grows and develops those features further. But in case of animals like frogs, butterflies and mosquitoes, you see many different stages of the development of an organism, that even they do not resemble their parents for some time. So that is why we have to study, and they undergo changes, drastic changes, to look like their parents finally, and this undergoing of drastic changes is called metamorphosis. In between they change their forms, or we call it molting. They change their forms to become something else. Like in case of, you would have studied in your previous class when you were studying the life cycle of silk moth, that it forms the first molting, it forms a larva, then it forms a caterpillar, then it forms a pupa. So all these different stages are seen. In case of frog also, you see many different stages. Adult frog, the female lays eggs in outside their, in outside, like in rivers and ponds, and the sperms also are directly released in these water bodies, where the fertilization takes place. So they have external fertilization, and once the zygote is formed, it turns into a tadpole which looks like a tiny worm. It doesn't look like a frog at all. So this tiny tadpole will then develop features which makes it look like a fish, and it also has gills at that time, so which helps it to respire in the water. Now after some time it will again change, it will metamorphose, and it will change into a young frog, but it will keep the tail with it. Gradually this tail is also given off, it is shed off by the internal absorption of these cells, and an adult frog forms. So all this, in this while we see many different stages of the young frog, and this they transform completely, and this is called, these drastic changes are called metamorphosis. So this is how the development of a young frog takes place. And with this we finish the sexual reproduction in animals, and now we will be starting with asexual reproduction. So now we will be starting with asexual reproduction in animals. As the name suggests, in asexual reproduction, the different sets of parents are not required. It can be done by one single parent, and the offspring is exact replica. It will have the exact properties or the qualities of its parents. Okay, so now in this there is no fusion of gametes, no gametes are formed, so there is no fusion of gametes. Asexual reproduction is basically of 4 types: binary fission, fragmentation, budding and regeneration. In your class we will be studying binary fission and budding. So binary fission, that's the simplest form of asexual reproduction, and it happens in unicellular organisms like amoeba, paramecium, euglena, etc. Binary, if you know, means 2. fission means division. So when a division happens, when an organism divides in two simple parts, it is called binary fission. So what happens in this is an amoeba which has all its genetic material in the nucleus. Now this nucleus condenses and then elongates. Okay, so first everything comes together, then it starts elongating. As it elongates, it starts developing ingrowth. It starts getting inside the wall of the nucleus material, starts getting inside, and similarly the outer wall or the cell membrane of the organism also starts shrinking in. So after that, once it is completely shrunken, it divides into two daughter amoeba, and this is how binary fission happens. So from one organism we have two. Now these amoeba will grow up and again divide, and this is how binary fission is a form of reproduction in the unicellular organisms. The second form of reproduction in unicellular organism, multicellular organism is budding. Okay, it is also a form of asexual reproduction. Now it happens in organisms like hydra, sponges and corals. So what happens is, in an adult body of an hydra, a bud-like thing develops. It's small projection which comes out on its body, and we call it as a developing bud. Now on this bud will start developing features like its parents. Like it has tentacle, and a hydra has tentacles and mouth, so it will start developing tentacles and mouth, and it will start growing in size also. And at one point this bud will completely, once all the things it requires, or it gets all the things all features which are present in the parent, it develops those, it separates, it breaks away from the parent body and settles down to form a new organism. So this is how budding happens in hydra. In case of corals and in case of certain sponges, because they live in colonies, this separation from the main parent doesn't happen. So they'll continue, like if it is a coral, this bud will continue to grow into a new organism. Then from here also we will have several buds coming out in a new, and the colony of corals will grow. So this is budding, which happens in hydra, which happens in sponges, and which happens in corals. Okay, so with this we complete the chapter reproduction in animals.